I was sleeping in the master bedroom, and I got a phone call, and I decided to answer the phone call, and the individual says, "I've been watching you." Right? I'm like, "Excuse me, who is this?" And it kind of sounded like the name, like an old-fashioned name. And so I was like, this is what he said: "My name is Ephraim," something along the lines, but it could have been Othniel, something along the lines. Okay, it sounded very ancient, and so I'm like, and he says, "Somebody is watching." And when he says that somebody, he's watching me over me, because somebody is watching me. That's when I was like, what? And so I had the phone in my hand, and I got up from the bed, and I went to the window. And this window is like a nook, so it's like 3-panel window. And I look outside, and suddenly it's like snowy out there. And not only that, but it looks like slushy, like dirty snow, in right below the driveway. And so I noticed that there's a car not up on the driveway. It's right below the driveway, and there's a tow truck right next to the car, and there's a man that is in shadows. I couldn't see because it was nighttime as well, and he was about to tow the truck. And I'm like, okay. And then at the same time that was happening, I was kind of like, what in the world? I was a little bit like thrown off, because right now the current weather is not snowing. We're entering spring, so it just didn't make sense. Okay. I go lay back down, and then I wake up again, and I want to check the window. So, let me backtrack a little bit. I recall when that happened, I walked out the door of that bedroom. And when I walked out that door, somebody else that's was in that house came out of the other room. And I said, "Do you know what's going on outside? Your car's getting towed." And that person's like, I know. And I'm like, "You know?" I'm like, "What do you mean you know?" Because I was like, "You're in the back room. How would you know that that's happening, right?" And so then they just stood in the hallway and were just kind of like, "I know." Like they felt hopeless, like helpless and hopeless. And then I went back in the room, and I fell asleep again. Then I decided to wake up, and and I was like, excuse me, again, to check out the window. And when I looked out the window, I saw this little girl, and she was on this like inner tube or some kind of like little sled, and she was zooming very quickly, and she zoomed right in front of the present house. She zoomed right in front of, upwards, up the driveway, not down, almost almost crashing. It looked like she was almost going to crash on the garage door in that corner. But suddenly, this father of hers, and he was a black man I remember he was a black man. He had a black, hair, curly hair, and then he had a beard, mustache. And he was wearing a jacket. And he got on his sled, and he zoomed really quickly, quicker than she did. Quicker than when he was behind her. And he like just scooted himself really quickly, zoomed sonic speed in front of her. So if she would crash, she pretty much ran into him. And he beat her to it, and he got in front. Do you see what I mean? Got in front of her. And then nothing happened to her. And I was like, oh, what a father's love does, right? Always tries to protect his children, and will make a way out of no way. Okay, make a way out of no way. And there was no harm done to her, and she was able to play. She felt like it was nothing, She played, and it was interesting how she zoomed upwards, which I found interesting because like gravity, doesn't work that way. But in the dream, it was like that. All right, so then. In real life, though, that actually happened to me, where we went to Mount Hood with a bunch of youth, and we had a group of friends, Javier, Walter, and Miguel, and they were there. And obviously, they're a little bit more adventurous, right? So they were doing all that. But it was our turn to go down. So it was my sister and I. We were zooming down with inner tubes, and we did all this. We did it at the same time. We went down that slope at the same time. But I mean, I saw it coming, but I couldn't change routes. I saw the humongous tree, but like somehow my inner tube, like it went like to the right a little bit, maybe on a bump. And I just knew that I was probably going to crash into that tree, So I'm like, oh my gosh, kind of embarrassing, but I'm going astronomical speed. So there's no way. I didn't know what to do. Everything's happening all at once. And out of nowhere, just literally out of nowhere, my friend Javier was on the inner tube, and he somehow passed me. He passed me. He came from the right. He can't pass me. And all of a sudden I was like, hey, I thought it was like, oh my gosh, it's the girl's turn, but that's okay. And he just ran, and he went towards the tree, and he got in front of the tree, and we all landed at the same time, and he softened my landing. That's what he did. Basically, I don't know how else to put it. And then everybody ran, right? And they're like, are you okay? And then no one's really asking him if he's okay. I think because he's a strapping, young teenager boy, you probably think he can take, right? So they're just asking me, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, but it's because of him. I'm like, how'd you get there so fast? He's like, I don't know how he explained it, but he was just like, I just had to get there because I saw that you were going to crash into the tree, and it was going to hurt your body more than it would hurt my body if I crashed into the tree. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you, thank you very much. And I just kind of felt a little bit embarrassed because, I needed some rescue. I was like a damsel in that moment, and I just needed this rescue. And somebody actually came to rescue me, which I really appreciate. And so that whole thing actually really happened. When I was reflecting on this piece of the dream, I actually felt like crying, because that's what a father does for their child. He just came right in time. And it seemed kind of ironic that during the same time that calamity was happening with that individual's vehicle was being towed, at the same time, there was like an acceleration, okay? And she actually went accelerated, and she ascended upwards, and it was like so overwhelming. But even with the overwhelming moment, Yahuwah still came to rescue even that moment with showing me this father figure. Like he's showing me like the heavenly father is coming to rescue his children in this hour. And it's going to be divine. It's going to be supernatural. Like it's going to be where he saw it from the past. He saw it from the distance. What was going to happen. And he was like in front. And he was way back. And he was watching from a distance. And he just saw it. And he's like, bam, he was there. Excuse me. Okay, so that's what happened in the dream. Now, and I laid back down in my dream, laid back down, took a nap again. And then I woke up because I felt like something was in my my room. And I woke up and there was a bunch of puppies. And I'm like, this was not here a minute ago. And in my dream, I recall that puppies can be signify something negative. I recalled because I've been studying that in the past because of other dreams of having dogs or cats in the dream that are evil. Some interpretation can be good depending on the color, depending on how they are treating you in the dream. So puppies can be like loyalty, companion in a positive sense, new friendships, okay, new beginnings. But in a negative sense, it could be a lustful spirit, or it could be like it could be if the dog's trying to growl bite you or something like that. It could be something like, you know, spirit of sabotage and stuff like that. Okay, but these puppies were just there, and they were the color white and brown. So the color brown does signify have some warning around the surroundings of people that you have, you know, who you're going to be meeting in the future. The white signifies purity and holy connections of friendships and new relationships. So there's like a mixture there of the colors. So he just still wants you to be very vigilant on who you're letting into your life. Now, all of the newcomers, new friendships, new developments are evil, okay? That's why he was saying that. But what I noticed is that, I mean, I'm sure I did not want to have a bunch of I didn't want to have a bunch of puppies to take care of. A bunch of new relationships to take care of. I guess that's what it meant. And I just, in the dream though, I was literally thinking it's a puppy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had a baby. You know, I don't know if I can handle taking care of a puppy. I also have a Rottweiler. Okay, so, and what happened was I looked really quickly and I got the one that looked like a real puppy, because I noticed that the other ones looked very extra more shaggy and they kind of look like stuffed animals in an odd way. So there was some, excuse me, there was some peculiarity to it. And so you need to have extreme discernment in this hour so that you can identify who is the true friendship and who looks like the true, but really it's a stuffed animal, okay? In a sense, it's faulty. And so I opened the door to let all the puppies down the stairs, because right at that master bedroom